let's get to the football before worrying about Diego's crappy internet. I want to start with Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, a whole slew of news coming out of Manchester United sources this past week, including the manager and the player themselves. Apparently, he was excluded from, I think, training or from the matchday squad or something by Eric Ten Hag because of his quote unquote performance and attitude in training. That led to Jadon Sancho then posting his response, his comment, saying that he's been doing as good as he can be. He hasn't
It's
had
not me
any
this
real
time.
issues. Yeah, posted his response, which have actually since been deleted according to Fabrizio Romano. But apparently he wasn't doing too hot in trading. He says the opposite, and it's a whole slew of information. I'm going to expand this to a bigger thing. This is a problem in itself, but like, I think this is a really clear reflection on Manchester United as a whole at the moment and over the past. I feel like there's always some like dispute. There's always something going on with Manchester United. Greenwood, Antony, Pogba, Jadon Sancho,
Ronaldo.
And that's just Ronaldo. And that's just in the past 4 years, 3-4 years. But this seems like part of the culture right now at Manchester United, even under Eric Ten Hag. What do we think? What is your guys' initial reaction to what's going on with Jadon?
Let's get Diego's opinion first, so we don't lose him. So let's go with Diego. Diego, what do you think?
My thoughts on Jadon Sancho?
Yes.
No. Your cookie recipe. Yes, you're.
Jadon Sancho. Well, I mean, we know that like Ten Hag has tried a lot of different things with him to get him to work for United, and like,
Yeah.
I think at a certain point, like you got like, don't get me wrong, of course, people have mental health issues and deal with things on personal life, but at a certain point, like you kind of gotta at least start, showing up a little bit, doing your thing. And I know Ten Hag kind of scapegoated him for one of the games, and Sancho didn't like that, and he kind of spoke out about it, which isn't the greatest way to go about it, like especially on his social media. But I know he went and did that. Um, but like, if I'm being real with you, like it's been what, almost 2 years. Like at a certain point, like it's no longer just like, maybe Sancho just doesn't work well with the system. Maybe he's not meshing with manager, but with how much money they bought him for, like he's the kind of player you expect to at least be able to do stuff. So I don't know, man. I kind of, don't get me wrong. Ten Hag isn't going about this the right way, but I don't have a lot of support for Sancho right now.
Ooh, interesting. Address.
Okay, I'm gonna take a psychological approach as a psychology major. Let's do a throwback to when he was struggling with mental health issues and he had to step away from the team. Maybe it's come back, his mental health issues, and maybe he needs to take another step away from the team, and he's maybe not willing to acknowledge the fact that he's having these issues that are out of his control, in the sense that like he thinks he's doing good, but in reality he's not. And that's like could be a potential mental health issue that he is. He never said what type of mental health issue he had. I'm guessing like probably anxiety and depression, because that's common amongst footballers. Especially with all the pressure they have, especially Jadon Sancho with the move to Manchester United and then flopping, and then the hate he got for it. But yeah, I feel like it's something that's out of his control, where he thinks he's doing well, but in reality he's not. But also I feel like slowing the manager on social media for saying that it's not for his practice performances, even though there's been several sources saying that he hasn't been doing well in training at all. And so he has to take some accountability, but at the same time, if it's mental health issues, you just got to step away and take care of himself first and focus on himself and then come back. But I feel like personally, Ben Foster also said that in the third Alex Ferguson days, if Sancho did that during that time, he would never see the pitch again. And so I feel like for any type of player that did that would never see the pitch again. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised in December he gets sold or loan listed or maybe terminated at this point. But to answer your question, Elijah, in the beginning of what's up with United, I think it's just a lack of stability and leadership in the whole club, the structure itself, because they just keep making these signings that aren't working, and they have no plan. It looks like they're just trying to fill in these gaps with big players, and there's no plan to anything that they do. And it's just not working. And that's what happens when you have a bunch of big characters on the team. It just slowly cracks start to form. And it slowly started forming. Like it was fine, like 2015, 2016, 2017, it was fine. And then from 2017 on, the cracks have been showing, and more so in recent time, like in the 2020s, it's shown a lot, these cracks. But I feel bad for Sancho in the sense that like it's gone so downhill from his career from when he played for Dortmund. You know, it was supposed to be this big move for him, but now it's collapsed basically. So yeah, feel bad for him, but also I mean he's got to take accountability for what he's said and not taking it the best way. And then Eric Ten Hag, I don't know if it's true, but I feel like blasting your player like that isn't the greatest thing to do ever for the locker room. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's more information. I'm sure later on we'll get some player reactions of like a leak source from a player says this about Sancho or Eric Ten Hag, something like that. But yeah, but brutal. But I agree with Diego. Can't really sympathize with Sancho for doing what he did.
Yeah. So I'll speak on Jadon Sancho first before I speak on United. Jadon Sancho, like, it sucks because I love him as a baller. He could have been really good. He was really good at Dortmund. I think most of the world backed him the first time he had his mental health issues at the club and took time away because it was a very like noble thing to do in your position to step away on such a public level and like not just like ignore it. But that was a long time ago now, and I'm sure. I hope his mental health got better, and if it didn't, that's a shame, of course. And I hope he does take time away from football. But at the same time, I think it's time for United to take time away, to get away from him. He just like there's only so much of that of him you could take at the club, which sucks. But he's just like not doing anything. Like that's a spot that could be taken up by someone else at the club, which is unfortunate because like if it is all down to mental health, which I don't think it is, and I'll get to that in a sec. If it is all down to mental health, then it is unfortunate that I feel there should be a split, but that's just like at this point nature of the beast. Especially if you're a big club like United, like you gave him the opportunity to do what he needed to do, and even after a second chance, after he wasn't able to do anything, then like as a business model, you got to move on. So unfortunate for Jadon Sancho, but I think he could go somewhere and still be pretty successful. Like he can go back to the Bundesliga for someone like a Wolfsburg or something like that, or a Serie A club and still do fine, and turn it around. But not at United. As for United though, like they're just a mess. It's just bad decisions after bad decisions. And it's always with wingers too. But like you said, like they just be buying people. They have the worst talent profile, in my opinion. And like the people that actually would help, they never are able to actually get. So like they've lost their pull in that sense. And then they settle for like they've made good signings for sure. It's just they could do a lot more.
Right.
Harry Maguire never really turned out to be his price tag. Casemiro, great, but I think he's lost a lot from since he came to now, and it's only going to get worse.
This season, it's showing a lot more.
It's showing a little bit more. Anthony has been,
well, he's not even part of the squad at the moment. That's a whole different issue.
That's a whole different thing. That's not concerning football as much. But even like when he does get to play, he doesn't really do much.
His highlight was doing keepy ups. When they were thrashing that one, I forgot what team. That was his highlight of his whole Manchester career.
He's the fidget spinner. Rashford good. If you want to go back to Martial, like it's just they have the worst talent profile in my opinion, and that just leads to a lot of bad things. If you don't have a team that can mesh well, if you don't have players that know their part, it's just never going to work. But as for United and how they're treating Sancho, I think it is very harsh. I get having to move on, just not doing it in this way. Like Ten Hag publicly using Jadon Sancho as a scapegoat for a lot of their struggles, and like what's going on behind the club is wrong. Apparently, according to Mailsport, like they weren't clear to go public over his mental health this time. He didn't give them permission to do that, and Ten Hag used it in a press conference like, his mental health. I mean, if you're going through something, you don't want someone else to be talking about you in that way, especially to millions of people around the world. So it's just weird like that. Like I think Ten Hag is a very weird person. I'm not the biggest supporter of his football managing ability. I'm sure he's great, but if you really look into it, he's not the greatest, as many United people will say. But he's just like he wanted Mason Greenwood back. He backed like Quincy Promes after the whole stabbing incident. It's just weird. like they're publicly running a campaign against Jadon Sancho while also trying to protect Mason Greenwood and Anthony. Which is like
Anthony, I'll
interesting.
give a bit of leeway.
Anthony,
but
yeah, because we don't know. Damn,
interesting.
Diego, you got to switch your mic, I think, because your mic's oh, he muted. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, now it's recording.
Oh damn.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh well.
But
But like
fine.
Anthony, yeah, but in the event that Anthony is guilty, like none of us know, and neither do they. I get the whole innocent until proven guilty, but
Just continue. It's
Is that
fine.
better?
He just like
There
No.
you go.
I mean, I guess.
Well, you got closer.
no,
It now sounds fun. It sounds
every
fine. Don't
time
worry
you
about
touch it, every time you touch it, it's just like you're shitting.
Yeah. Okay.
it.
Okay. But if I don't touch it,
That's better. That's better. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
fine.
Does it-
I mean, it sounds
Uh,
good. It sounds like you're speaking in like a headset, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine with it. You know, it's our first
is it
episode
better
back.
in
no, it
or
works.
We
Yeah,
have
out?
it works.
shite
Season 2.
Wi-Fi.
Put it away just a little bit.
Put it away a little bit. A little bit.
Like that?
Just take it away from the mouth.
You don't want to ear rape our viewers.
Yes,
there you
that's
go.
fine. That works.
Top,
That
that,
works.
that
Okay,
works.
okay.
That works.
Anyway, Greenwood, we know is guilty legally. We had that whole video already.
We don't. Okay.
We don't need to go over that again. We can.
Dude, I think we should revisit that actually.
no,
That
which
turned
we
out
will
great
later.
for us.
Which we will later at some point. But like, okay, we know Greenwood's a bad person. You know, but it's just like why is Jadon Sancho taking all the hit for this from something that involves his mental health? Just silently part ways. Let him do what he needs to do. Let you guys do what you need to do. We don't need this whole public smear campaign, is what I would say. I think like that's just it. I think United are very icky for doing what they're doing, in my opinion. For making Jadon Sancho this public scapegoat. When if you're going through a mental health crisis, you don't want people to know. That's like it's not their business.
It's a private thing. You know, you're a professional footballer. But at the end of
It's
the day,
a private matter.
You want to keep your professional life and your personal life separate. And in this case, he's not playing well on the pitch. That's fine, whatever. But like, there's a reason behind it. Personal life, they just want to talk about, and that's perfectly fine. But also, I feel like it doesn't help Manchester United that their squad depth is so low that they didn't bring in enough transfers into this from this window. And I feel like their squad depth is going to hurt now after this Jadon Sancho incident. And I feel like this is a great segue to our next topic.
Yep,
Just
there it is. I
there
knew
we
you were
go.
going there.